Hi, it's Andrew. Today I'd like to teach you how to create a rational function from the following word problem. It says a large mixing tank currently contains 300 gallons of water, into which 8 pounds of sugar have been mixed. A tap will open, meaning a faucet. It's going to pour 20 gallons of water per minute into the tank, and at the same time, sugar is also going to be poured into that tank at a rate of 2 pounds per minute. It wants us to find then the concentration, okay? Find the concentration in pounds per gallon of sugar in the tank after t minutes. So I always like to begin, let's say, with the end in mind. So the question is asking, or the problem statement is, find the concentration in pounds per gallon. Pounds of what? Well, pounds of sugar. Per gallon of what? Per gallon of water. All right, so this is going to be the sugar over the water. Right, that's what the per means. The shug over the watt. So concentration then is simply going to be the pounds, lbs, of sugar, pounds of shug, over the gallons of water. All right. Now, initially what's happening here is we have a tank, it says, and we have 300 gallons of water in the tank. So there's 300 gallons, 300 gal, and there's going to be 8 pounds of sugar in that tank. So 8 pounds. All right. And what's going to happen is we're going to be placing into this tank now. We're going to have some kind of a faucet. And it's going to be adding 2 pounds of sugar. 2 pounds of sugar per minute. This is for the shug. And it's also going to be adding some amount of water per minute, right? And it tells us that it's adding 20 gallons of water per minute. So this is going to be 20 gallons per minute. And that's of the water. All right. And here we have of the sugar. So what I can now do is if I want to find the concentration at some point in time, I know that the concentration is going to be a function of the amount of sugar in that tank at some point in time divided by the amount of water in that tank at that same point in time. All right. So initially, when the time is 0, what's the concentration? Well, you have 8 pounds in the tank, 8 pounds of sugar, and you have 300 gallons of water. So it's simply 8 over 300, right? Then you might think, well, okay, what's the concentration going to be after 1 minute passes? Well, you still have 8 pounds of sugar in the tank, but after 1 minute passes, you're going to be adding 2 pounds of sugar now, right? In 1 minute, because that's the rate it tells us. So basically, the amount of sugar in the tank is going to be 8 plus 2, or 10. 10 pounds of sugar. And then how much water is in the tank? Well, it starts with 300, and then you're going to be adding 20 gallons every single minute. So in 1 minute's time, you're going to add the 20 gallons, so it's going to be 300 plus 20. Right? And the concentration then in the tank is going to be 10 over 320 after 1 minute. Now, what happens after 2 minutes? Well, after 2 minutes, you still have the 8 pounds of sugar. And now you're going to be adding, every single minute, you're adding 2 pounds of sugar. So you're going to have a total of 4, right, pounds. So for a total then of 12 at the end. And the same thing then with the water. It's going to be 300 plus then 40 because you're adding 20 gallons every single minute. So after 2 minutes, you're going to add 40. You already started with 300. So you're going to be ending there with 340 gallons of water, and you have 12 pounds of sugar. And that's the concentration at 2 minutes, right? And then you can see the pattern now. So sometimes it's not beneficial to like say, okay, what's this overall formula I have to create? Sometimes that gets a little confusing. But if we just think about how to solve, or let's say answer the question, we pose different questions to ourselves and we say, well, what's the concentration after 1 minute? How about after 2 minutes? How about after 3 minutes? And we just think about it. And we think about what's given. We can generally come up with then answers, right? And now all you have to do is find the pattern. What's the pattern? Well, the pattern is you took your initial amount of sugar, okay, and the initial pounds of sugar. So you had 8 pounds of sugar. So I'll write it this way, 8 pounds of sugar. And what you did then was you're adding to that the 2 pounds of sugar per minute, 2 pounds of sugar per minute, And you're multiplying that then by the number of minutes that has passed, right? You're multiplying it by then the number of minutes that has passed. And now if you notice, what's going to happen is that the minutes will cancel. And what you're left with then is then pounds of sugar plus pounds of sugar. So dimensionally, we're consistent. In other words, you're going to be left with pounds of sugar in the numerator, right? And then the pattern, what's the pattern in the denominator? Well, we started with the 300, right? We start with our 300 gallons of water. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding to that now, right? So let's add to that the 20 gallons of water per minute, multiplied then by the number of minutes. And that's basically your formula, right? That's the formula. See, I think if I asked you these questions about how much is in, how much sugar is in the tank in 1 minute, how much, that's even part of the problem solving process too, right? To find the concentration, it's like, what, the concentration? How the hell am I going to do that? Well, we have to break it down. It's the pounds of sugar per the gallons of water at some point in time, right? That's all it is. So if I ask you then, if I break this question up into smaller questions and I say, well, how much sugar would be in this tank after 1 minute passes? If you start with 8 pounds initially and you're going to add 2 pounds every minute, I guarantee everyone's going to say 10, right? And if I ask you that same question or a similar question and I say that with the water, you're starting with 300 gallons of water, and how much water is then in the tank after 1 minute if you're going to be adding 20 gallons every single minute? Everybody's going to say 320. And then I'm going to say, well, to find the concentration, all you need to do is then take those pounds of sugar and divide it by then the gallons of the water. And you're like, oh, great, I'm just going to take my 10 pounds of sugar divided by the 320 gallons of water, and I get my concentration. But once we have to now find a formula out of that, I bet we get stuck. Well, that's the key to then problem solving. The key is to keep changing the question on yourself. If you know what happens after 1 minute and 2 minutes, and then if you did 3 and 4 and 5, you have to begin to identify a pattern. Right? That's the key. Pattern recognition. So, in solving this problem now, I mean, it's basically solved, but if we had to put it into a nice formula, it would be, without units, it would be 8, the pounds of sugar, plus then the rate at which we're adding the sugar to, times the amount of time that passes t, divided then by 300 gallons of water, plus then the rate at which we're adding the water, multiplied then by the amount of time that passes t. And this is now the formula, right? And that's it. That's all there is to it, ladies and gentlemen. So listen, thanks for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. I hope this video helps. And if you like what you see, guess what? We have thousands of videos out there, not only in math, but chemistry and physics as well. We're constantly producing content, and we're trying to help you through your class. Right? We have a ton of material. We're constantly building our website, and we got more stuff coming. So check us out. We'd love to help you with more. We want to see you succeed. We'll see you soon.